So as doth say the wheel.
So the documentary is called Barry Learns to Fly. So just based off that, if you saw a video that Barry Learns to Fly, what would you think that would be about?
My guess is somebody going after his pilot's license.
That would make a lot of sense. I mean,
Sure.
There's not too many ways you can learn to fly, you would think, right? Like,
unless he means literally soaring through the air.
Well,
yeah, but that wouldn't make any sense. People can't do that. Humans.
Who would be crazy enough to try to reinvent a way to do that?
I'm laughing at a funny joke I heard at the breakfast table earlier. I'm not laughing at that.
All right, play.
When people ask me about this, maybe a couple of dozen people know about it because a lot of people would not really be interested in it. Some of them would just cast doubt. And when you cast doubt, then you start doubting yourself. I'm a pretty positive person. And
okay, so that part where you see him carrying that thing over his head, like what? You guys know what this is, so it's kind of not right. But what would you assume that he would be carrying? I mean, it's called right there. Like,
is this the part you're talking about?
Yeah. So, I mean, just put this together. You got a video called Barry Learns to Fly, and then you see this guy holding this thing. Like, what would you think he's even doing?
Perhaps building an aircraft of some sort.
Oh. Okay.
My guess would have been trying to install the top of like a pavilion type tent in case it rained during a picnic or something.
Maybe a solar panel.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't really expect a guy to just be making something that he's going to try to fly with. That's for sure.
Dude, we were only 13 seconds in. Can we just start again?
Yeah.
The whole video is only a minute and 2 seconds. Like even this, like just look at. All right, okay, go.
when people ask me about this, maybe a couple of dozen people know about it because a lot of people would not really be interested in it. Some of them would just cast doubt. And when you cast doubt, then you start doubting yourself. I'm a pretty positive person, and I've been through like.
A lot of people wouldn't be interested. No, everyone would be interested. You know how much of a fool this makes you look like.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's why you've only told a select number of people. Now, I don't want to. Foreshadow. I don't want to commit a spoiler, but there's a reason why he doesn't tell that many people about this. It has nothing to do with them expressing doubt. It has everything to do with commitment to an institution only requiring 2 signatures.
Right.
Okay, we're also watching a trailer to a documentary. Usually, a trailer to a documentary doesn't start off with the end.
Yeah, I feel like we need to watch the whole thing and then go back and then we can discuss parts of it. Just because I feel like other people seeing it are not going to know exactly what's going on.
Okay, from the top.
When people ask me about this, maybe a couple of dozen people know about it because a lot of people would not really be interested in it. Some of them would just cast doubt. And when you cast doubt, then you start doubting yourself. I'm a pretty positive person, and I've been through like a lot in my life. I had skin cancer, survived a number of car wrecks. I feel that there's a reason for me to be doing this. I wish I would have started this when I was 20. I wish that little bug just like said, hey, why don't you build a flying device when I was 20 years old? Yeah. Now I'm 59. It's an uphill battle to do something that nobody has ever done before. This has always been like an idea for me, and I don't think it's ever going to quit until I succeed.
You don't have to have duct tape, dude.
All right. So now that we've watched the whole thing, we can go back and discuss it. But I feel like now I can explain the whole thing. So basically, this video is about
Sorry about that.
So the video is about a guy who essentially tries to make what's already been made, a hang glider. but he makes it out of PVC pipes, the shittiest material. But now I got to go back and tell how I originally found out about this documentary about the flyer that he's trying to make.
And that's what he refers to it as. He refers to it as the flyer.
Yeah. What are you doing, man?
I was trying to get it onto this screen.
Okay.
For the thumbnail.
I mean, I would have went with the one with him strapped to his shoulders. But...
All of that can be done in post. Josh, how did you find out about this character?
So, I want to first say that he's I met him before. He's a nice guy, right? I'm not trying to just like make fun of him.
You know the guy personally, right?
I mean, kind of.
You know who? Yeah, you've met him before.
Yeah, like I'm not trying to just be mean to him. So, like, we're friends on Facebook, okay? So it must have been it was around his birthday, I guess, and people were saying happy birthday, Barry, all this stuff. So, and then I like started seeing all the posts for that, and I don't know why I went to like his timeline, and he's got like 5 posts in a row of just like going on and on about like things that he's not happy about, like things that are going wrong in his life, like all this stuff that was happening, and everyone said, and I'm too old for the flyer, right? Like complaining about his job, all these other things, and on every post was, I'm too old for the flyer. So I knew that he was doing stand-up comedy for a while, so I assumed he still was at that point, and I just thought he was talking about like comedy flyers, and I didn't understand what he meant by saying he was too old for the flyer, like that nobody would book him on a show just because he was too old, and they didn't want to put his old picture on the flyer. So then I'm looking through it a little more, and all of a sudden something about this comes up, and I'm like, what in the shit? No, he's not talking about comedy flyers. He's talking about a flyer that he tried to build himself out of these crappy materials that he got at Lowe's, and he's actually trying to fly. And then in this video, though, he says like how he wished he got into it when he was younger, and he's trying to do something that nobody's ever done before. But people have done it before.
That did give me a laugh. Yeah, when he got to that point.
Like, what does he mean people have never done it before? Have you seen people hang gliding? Like people, you can go buy what he's trying to make and it's better quality. Like this giant heavy ass PVC pipe thing strapped to his shoulders. What is he going to get a running start and just take off?
But the impression I get from him is that he's not merely trying to hang glide. He's trying to fly. Like you ever see the movie Brewster McCloud, the kid who lived in the Astrodome and built this set of wings in the hopes of being able to take flight similar to a bird, not someone jumping off a cliff and catching the drift of the wind behind him, like somebody flapping wings and being able to fly.
Well, in this thing,
that seems to be his goal, man.
He's going to fly like Bret Hart.
That was
Owen. That made no sense.
Son of a bitch. But yeah, look at this picture. Like, look what he's like. First of all, does that at all look like it's like if you desperately needed some sort of flying device? Like, is this what you would go to?
Strictly based on the trailer we just watched, it appears that this is a lot of PVC piping.
Yeah.
What is the second material that's being used? It can't just be like a regular tarp. Do you happen to know?
No, I don't know. I didn't get the schematics from him.
I don't. Yeah, but.
But they're okay.
He did post quite a lot of details about his trials and tribulations.
I mean, but look where he is right now. He's like at a baseball. Like, why does a lot of stuff happen at baseball fields? First of all, but he's at a baseball field. So like, imagine just going to
like
this
what?
park.
What do you mean? Why does a lot of stuff happen at base? Like what? Little league practices?
Like Steve getting in fights with people on the phone at baseball.
Yeah, that's got to go on the wheel. That's definitely got to go on the wheel. Definitely making its way on the wheel one of these days.
But like, imagine you go to the park, like you're like, oh, you just want to go down to you take your kid there, like just throw the ball around, and you look over and you see this guy like standing there, he's not even. And yeah, what you just said, Steve, makes it even crazier because right now he's not even on a hill, so he's just going to be running on a flat surface and hope to take flight.
Yes, he believes he will get up to speed and flap those wings quickly enough, rapidly enough, so that he can leave the ground.
And
like a bird. He wants to become a bird.
Yeah,
like like Icarus. Similar to Icarus, who, let's be fair, was the one that was doing something that no one else has tried before. Certainly not Barry.
So
Icarus was definitely the first.
So the other part,
far back in history as I know,
the other part of what I need to share has to do with. So he didn't even make this trailer for this documentary that's never actually going to be turned into a full movie himself. So some other guy was so interested in it that he recorded all this stuff and turned it into the documentary. And it's actually like a pretty well done trailer. Like
I think it's not that well done.
I mean, for what he's doing.
I mean, look at this. Come on.
It's better put together than that piece of shit he's trying to fly with.
We're going to see the trailer again.
No, I'm just pointing out. Usually when this is clearly an independent documentary. I don't want to crap on this guy's project.
No, but I mean, it's not great.
But to say it's like some amazing trailer is
it's better.
Let's be fair.
It's better quality than I would have expected. But yeah.
So let me ask you this: Is this a kind of a teaser of what to expect later on in the documentary? Look at this part. This is the part that stood out to me. Watch this. Did Barry capture that footage in mid-flight? Was that Barry soaring above those fields?
This dude rented a U-Haul to take this piece of shit to the park.
Is that accurate? Did he really do that?
Yeah, go back. All right, so now we can go back and play the whole thing again. You'll see the part where he gets the U-Haul.
But also, Benny, get ready to pause. I feel like there's a lot of pausable content.
Look at this thing. What is he doing right here? He's just.
Is he cutting something or is he clamping something down?
Who knows, man?
Yeah, it looks like it could be some sort of cutter, but I'm not sure exactly what that. Well, actually, some of that stuff appears to be wrapped with some sort of electrical tape.
Well, so I'm guessing that's that's probably the part that he's gonna rest on. So those might be like cushions that are going under his arms. So that's what he's looking for comfort.
In case of a crash landing.
Yeah, that's going to protect him. Dude,
come to think of it, Icarus was the first person. The second person probably would have been one of the Wright brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then after him, I think I saw Johnny Knoxville run off of a roof with one of these things and go crashing to the ground. So Barry would be the fourth person.
Yeah, I'm sure if you pulled up a video of the history of aviation and they the first 5 minutes they show all the early attempts of flying, most of those would be better than what he's putting together now. That bike that they show with all the balloons behind it, that would be better than what he's trying to use.
Is it though? I don't know. I haven't seen any video.
Yes.
But there's a distinction between aviation and what he's trying to accomplish.
Well, what would that be?
He wants to actually fly, not operate a vehicle that flies. He wants to be able. He wants to be able to fly like a bird. Yeah,
he's trying to. He's been, from what I understand, trying to create an apparatus similar to a hand glider.
There's no different from in the 50s. Many numbers of children would put on, they'd wrap a makeshift cape around their necks and jump off the roof. Yeah, that's what he's doing. Thinking, well, this resembles wings, that resembles Superman. This will enable me to fly.
So, but let's also back up. So it's you got to keep this all in perspective of his major gripe at one point in his life when things were not going right was that he was too old for the flyer. So that was what he was thinking was his problem for the longest time. He was just age and it was stopping him from taking flight.
So you need me to hit play again? We're going to watch this again?
Yeah.
Is this documentary out? I thought it said summer of 2023.
Yeah, no, man, there's no full documentary. No one's recording that.
They made a trailer. This footage came from somewhere.
Well, what are you going to do? Well, first of all, I would love to watch it, but I mean, what kind of movie is an hour and a half of a guy not flying?
I don't know. I'm curious now.
Like, why would you make a documentary about it?
Yeah, maybe that's why they never finished it up. Maybe it's a work in progress.
No, but we'll also get to why the guy who made this, the guy who's in charge of making the documentary. We'll get to what he's busy doing where, so he probably doesn't have a lot of time.
But they announced a release date. I mean, normally a project will have come to a completion. The filming of the project will come to a completion before you start creating a trailer. Is that not what he did here?
Well, normally
it seems pretty independent. I don't know if he has,
I don't know, but I would think any normal person wouldn't see this guy and think he's actually going to pull it off one day. That you would start recording him.
When people ask me about this, maybe a couple of dozen people know about it because a lot of people would not really be interested in it.
Okay, pause.
Just cast out, and when you cast out, then you start doubting yourself.
That's not true. He says a lot of people would not be interested. No, everybody would be interested, but not for the reasons you intend, Barry.
But also, wouldn't you really like Barry learns to fly? Let's say he did manage to get this thing up in the air for any length of time. Like, wouldn't landing be the ultimate concern? Like, that thing does not look like it's coming down smooth.
Yeah, I don't see anything parachute-like.
No, that thing is coming. Yeah, imagine the speed it would actually get up to if it was able to take flight, and then him coming down, like having to like Flintstones his legs onto the ground.
Well, he seems to be going step by step. So hopefully once he gets the flight step down,
and
he'll have pre-thought the landing step, because that's certainly not something you want to start thinking of last second while you're in the air.
Okay, I mean, I'm sure
above the fields we just saw.
I'm sure we could point out many design flaws with it, okay? But one that I really don't understand is that there's the picture of him, like, with the finished product, and he's kind of, like, wearing it on his shoulders, right? So where the fuck does his head go? Because, like, with a hang glider, you're basically holding the bar, and it's kind of like you have wings. But, like, this is, like, his head's poking out the middle of it.
Was it really? Do you mind? I do have a question. Regarding the U-Haul. Okay. So that's it in its completion, right? That's the glider that we see behind the dolly cart?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And that really does that looks like that other material just looks like shitty paper, man. Look how thin that stuff is.
Well, it's definitely not paper.
It looks like paper.
Okay, so there's this part I noticed, and then there's another part coming up where he opens the U-Haul.
Yeah.
Kind of a gross misuse of space. I mean, I don't think he could probably scale down.
For the U-Haul?
The U-Haul. Yeah. For this guy, I'd imagine is on a budget. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't think. Yeah. I mean, he could have just did it in his backyard. Why is he transporting it anywhere? Like,
well, he was in a big open space when he was right near that ballpark, so maybe he needed like some sort of a runway.
But also, raises the other question: where does he store this thing at his house?
Yeah,
I think the issue here isn't storage so much as it is transport.
Well, why doesn't he just strap it to the top of his car like a bike rack and hit the gas and fly there? His car.
Well, you know how it's like he's like what is that thing they always say about Thomas Edison, where like he like really didn't invent anything, he like just took other people's inventions and made them better. This guy's like the reverse Thomas Edison. He's just making things worse.
Some of them would just cast out, and when you cast out, then you start doubting yourself. I'm a pretty positive person, and I've been through like a lot in my life. I had skin cancer, survived a number of.
Okay, so what is that thing? What is that? What is that part right there?
For me,
that's the part. Yeah. That's the part that he's gonna stick his head in. That's where he was putting those cushions.
No way.
There. Yeah, that's where his body's going.
But it looks like the top of the contraption is grass down. That's the part that's laying on the grass.
Yeah.
So there's things that look like handlebar covers. There's the cushioning the PVC covering. That would be for his arms, hypothetically, right?
So he's like going to flip that up over and put it on like it's a shirt. And I think the grayish foam padding, I think is like going to go under his arms. You know how people put like dish rags on crutches? Like that's basically what he's got going on right here.
Now the padding, I see additional padding on the bars underneath. Is that to protect his head?
Well, he never puts on a helmet, which you think that you definitely want to go with that first. But I also love how he's gone through some hard things, skin cancer and a couple car accidents.
Yes, exactly. So he's very accident prone.
Yeah.
I would not recommend engaging in this activity.
No.
Given his history, given his fortune when it comes to operating a method of transportation.
But what does that have to do with wanting to build a flyer? Like, who cares?
Well, I think his suggestion is he has faced various forms of adversity, and this is just another one.
Oh, so it's just one more thing he's got to overcome.
Yeah. My understanding of the flyer is that it's in a constant state of trial and error, experimentation.
Yeah,
of course, man.
But it seems to always be there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of modifications ever made in that trial and error phase. It's just rebuilding.
You've been following this for some time, right?
Yeah, it's just rebuilding the same piece of shit over and over again. That's never gonna fly.
I will say this: if I set out to, this afternoon to go create a flying contraption, I mean, it wouldn't even be nearly as close as this.
Are you saying it would be better?
If you're saying this is, it'd be worse.
What?
Whatever I put it together would be worse.
Dude, just jumping and hoping for the best would be as good as this. Like, what are you talking about?
I don't know. Is this a documentary, or is this trailer the extent of the
this is the
project?
Extent. This is it.
Okay, so he made a trailer for a documentary but then they never made a documentary to accompany the trailer?
No.
Is that
Absolutely not. Nor will ever be.
Also, can we consider the advancements that happened, say, in ancient Greece? In a time before jet fuel, if this were possible, there were thousands of years for very capable humans to have come up with a method of flying. They did not.
Yeah. Well, he's gonna do it. He's gonna learn to fly. That's what he's going for.
But this would have predated in some way. This would have been sort of the prototype for the airplane had the airplane not been figured out first. The airplane was figured out first because it's the only way to do this.
True. Oh, helicopter, maybe.
Yeah, there are many
hang glider.
Maybe. Okay, yeah. Hang glider in my favorite.
Like, and that's the thing.
Showtime with the Apollo comedian.
Is it really?
Hang glider.
Is it possible? Is it really possible that he's never seen a hang glider? That he doesn't know what he's doing exists?
No, that may have been what inspired the idea, actually.
But again, I don't think that's what he's trying to do.
What do you think he's trying to do?
He's trying to take on ornithological properties.
Steve thinks he's legit trying to fly. Basically,
because
that's so do I. Yeah, based on some of the footage you've shown me in the past, we've kind of been watching this. We've kind of been following along with this.
But but even if he's trying to learn, if he's trying to learn to fly, that would imply that those things are supposed to be like wings, but they don't really. There's no way those things are flapping like wings. It's more of at best he's going to glide through the air for several seconds before he crashes to the earth.
He's not going to do that. He and those wings are far too heavy for that to be possible.
Right. I'm saying if he started running down a hill.
How do you know?
What? That he's going to crash?
The bull?
He can't go fast enough to achieve drift.
Okay. Yeah, you're probably right.
I mean, he might be able to do something for 3 seconds. Wind might get under it. It might lift him up a little bit, but he's immediately just going to hit the ground.
Or ideally, gracefully land, I'd imagine would be his end intent.
most likely he's just going to run in a field. Nothing's going to happen, and he's just going to get winded. That's what's going to happen.
He's going to trip on a rock, decapitate himself.
Yeah, man. Like, all right, yeah.
The runway.
All right, yeah. Keep playing it, because wait till it gets to like when you see how he actually wears this thing.
Number of car wrecks. I feel that there's a reason for me to be doing this. I wish I would have started this when I was 20. I wish that little bug just like said, hey, why don't you build a flying device when I was 20 years old? Yeah. Now I'm 59. It's an uphill battle.
Yeah, this is surely a younger man's game.
I wish I would have thought of that when I was 20. What, extreme sports? You wish you would have got into extreme sports at 20.
Those cushions that I was mentioning earlier, I'm now confused.
You know what those are?
Oh, he's carrying it by the top. Okay, so he's facing the top of the flying contraption.
You know what I think those are made of?
By the whole thing. What?
You know when there's a new house built and the insulation is exposed, and you see the brand name of the insulation? That is what that is. No,
it does kind of look like that. It's is that the Home Depot?
The Home Depot brand of
yeah. We can also talk about, like, so he's setting this thing up. He's getting ready to go. That this is the attire you choose to like try to fly in right here. This is your flight suit. This is what you're gonna wear. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know if it's particularly aerodynamic. I'm fascinated by this whole thing.
Like, look at how the pipes in the middle are like so close together, and that's what he's going to squeeze himself through.
And also wings on airplanes, on birds, on insects. They're not square for a reason.
That's also true. He didn't even go for like a shape. He just went with giant rectangles. And why that big?
But they're that shape for a reason. They help with aerodynamics in a way that this is the opposite. If you want to not fly, let's say you could fly by building a contraption in your garage. This would be the opposite of building an effective one. I mean, even cars are not made boxy so that it can travel through atmosphere.
If all else fails, he could repurpose it as a sail. I have a question for the King of Lampoons.
Yeah.
If I remember correct, you need to confirm, because he's kind of recapped some of his follies over the course of this experiment, right?
Yeah.
Did one of them include trying this from his garage roof? Am I getting that correct? Am I remembering that correctly?
I can't remember if he actually jumped from the roof. There's pictures of him in odd places with it strapped to himself. Like,
yeah. I definitely saw some. Yeah.
Any place he straps that to himself becomes an odd place. I wouldn't describe any place where there's a guy wearing wings as an ordinary place where nothing at all odd is occurring.